guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be looking at how can we bring our family members to Lithuania. I know that some of you are married in Lithuania and you have your kids living in different countries and you want to bring them together. You want to live all in the same place. That's what we'll be looking at in this video. I know that you're interested in this topic because I get the question quite a lot. So without any further ado, let us get right into the video. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kindness. I am a Nigerian who lives and works in Lithuania. On this channel, I bring you information about how to migrate to Lithuania, what to do when you get here, my own experience as a foreigner living here, and when I travel around the world, I also bring you some vlogs. Okay, all right, so like I already mentioned, some of you are living in Lithuania and you want to know, how can I bring my family members to Lithuania? And that includes your wife or your kids. How can you make the process? What are the documents that you need to bring them? That's what we are looking at in this video. How, the when, the documents, and everything inclusive. So let's get right into the video, okay? So the first and first is who can bring their family members to Lithuania. And the number one people that can bring their family members to Lithuania are people that have a job with a temporary residence permit. So if you're living in Lithuania right now and you have a temporary residence permit, then you'll be able to bring your family members to that. The number two people are people that have their blue cards. If you have your blue card, and blue card is a permit card issued to mostly highly skilled professionals who work in Lithuania, they are issued the blue card. The third set of people are people that have a permanent residence in Lithuania. So if you're already living in Lithuania for 5 years, you'll also be able to bring your family members to Lithuania. The other set of people are people that have businesses, they have established their business and their business makes up to 28,000 per year. Those people can also bring their spouses and their family members to Lithuania. So I hope now it is clear who can bring their family members to Lithuania. One thing important to know is that if you have your temporary residence permit, you need to already be working in Lithuania for 2 years, or you should have been living in Lithuania for the past 2 years. Okay, another thing, that your residence permit must be valid for at least 1 year. So if your residence permit right now is valid for only 3 months, you will not be able to, your spouse will not be able to make this application. So just bear that in mind when you start this application. Okay, so how do we actually go about making this application? Our one and only migration website, migris.lt. okay, when you go on migris.lt, remember the person that should make this application is your spouse, not you that is already working in Lithuania, but your wife or your husband, right? So when you go on the website, make sure that you register. So you create an account. You create an account. It's very simple to create an account. Just when you click on login, it will tell you to create a new account, your name and all that. So very simple process. When you create it, you log in and then you will start to make the application. You will find a note saying, hey, I wanna submit an application for blah blah blah. Please continue to look at the screen. You will see what I'm saying here. You'll be able to click on it saying that I want to get a temporary residence permit. My spouse or foreigner or alien lives in this country and they have a temporary residence permit. All right, so you make that application and then it takes you to submit certain number of documents that you need to make the application. If you're coming with your kids, so when you're filling your own application, right, it would ask you, are you coming with juveniles? And that will be your kids. If yes, you click on yes, and then it will tell you to enter the details of the kids. If you have an additional child coming with you, you would also be able to enter as many kids that you have coming with you. Once you do that, it will take you again. This form is very, very important that you need to be mindful, because you will see some of them they have the red asterisk, which means that you must enter that information to be able to complete your application. All right, so you are filling this form on migris.lt. however, I imagine that your spouse is not living in Lithuania, they are living, for example, in India or other parts of the world. Just know that you will need to select that you want the application processed externally, and that includes Lithuanian embassies or in other parts of the world, or VFS that are processing temporary residence permits for you, right, for Lithuania at the moment. So just be mindful of that. There is also a list on migris.lt on the countries that have those VFS offices and Lithuanian embassy in them. So just be mindful to select the right one. Obviously, look before you start this application to know who and where you can make the application for your spouse, or your spouse can submit the application. All right, so the documents that you'll be needing for this application would be your passport page. So your passport page, this is your international passport, so make sure that you have that down. If you don't have it, then this is when you start going to get it right now. Okay, so you need to take a picture of that passport as well. The second thing that you need is documents certifying the registration of your marriage. All right, so that means your marriage certificate that you got when you got married in your country or wherever you got married. So just make sure that you have that. Some countries would need to legalize that document, so please, I'm gonna put the link here, or also check in the description box. You will see if your country is included in the list of people that will need to legalize their document. If you legalize the document, if your country needs to do that, then there is a step as well how to get it done. If not, then you can move to the next step. So make sure you submit your marriage certificate. You will need to submit obviously the copy of it on the website, but when you actually go for your interview, you would need the original copy, so just be mindful of that. So one of you should have it down, okay? Another thing that you will need is the evidences that you have funds. Usually in Lithuania, we have a rule, if you're making an application, that you need at least the minimum wage per month per person, right? So make sure that you do that calculation rightly. Obviously, if you have kids, that's half of that amount, but please read on this website as well to be sure how much you would need to have in your account. The next thing, obviously, if you don't have that certain amount in your account, for example, if you're coming with 5 kids, for example, if you're coming with many kids, right, just be mindful that you would have to have more money than if you're coming with 1 kid. All right, then one thing that I need to mention as well is, if you're working in Lithuania, especially for people that have their blue cards or people that have businesses, then you would also need to show, for example, the list or the income that your company is making. If you have a business, if you have a job, then you need to submit your work contract, right? With the bank statement, one thing to also mention that it might be your bank statement, somebody that is inviting your spouse. So it might be my bank statement that I'll provide to my husband. However, your husband or your spouse can also bring their own bank statement. So instead of you submitting yours, if you don't have enough funds, it could be your spouse who has more funds that will submit their own bank statement. So the bank statement can be either of yours. All right, and if your bank statement is obviously sufficient and you have a lot of money there, great. If not, please make sure you submit your work contract, your own work contract, which means the person working in Lithuania, in the application form. Okay, the next thing that is needed is documents regarding your place of stay. Okay, what you can do in this case, if you're already living in an apartment, you can ask your landlord to renew your contract or edit your contract so that it can include your spouse and your kids. When you have that done, then you will be able to declare your place of residence. You can declare your place of residence actually at the immigration when you go to make your application, when you come to Lithuania, or you can do that, your spouse living in Lithuania can do that at their eldership. I'm sure that I'm also going to leave a list here or a link on where you can find your eldership. It's a very simple process, so this one is not a problem at all. However, when you're doing the form, when you're filling the form, you see that this one is not a must, is not a red button that you must do it before your application. You can do it when you arrive in Lithuania, but just make sure that you get it done. But this is one of the things that will be asked of you. Okay, the next one is your police report from the country that you are coming from. So if you've been living there, then you need to get a police report from them, find out how to get a police report and get that information done. For Lithuania and also there are countries that police report expires in 3 months, and so be sure how long your police report is valid for and make sure that you provide that information correctly when you are making your application. All right, the next one as well that is very important when you're filling this form is they will ask you to list the countries that you've been in the last 5 years or in the last 10 years, right? In the last 10 years. So please make sure that you remember them. If you don't remember them, think about it, look at your pictures, look at your stuff, and make sure you provide it, because I think the main thing is that they need to see that truly this spouse of yours is your spouse and truly these kids are your kids, and they will be able to, you know, tally it together when they're making that decision. So just make sure that you provide that information as well. Another thing that you need is your health insurance. You need to submit a health insurance showing that you'll be able to obviously go to the hospital while you're living in Lithuania, because your spouse's health insurance, if they're working in Lithuania, does not cover you. So you need to get your own insurance done. To get your insurance, we have several companies in Lithuania that offer insurance: Ego, Gensigide, and so on and so forth. Please also look on the screen or in the description box for a list of them. So please get your insurance from those companies. Insurance can cost from anywhere from 50 euros to 200 euros depending on the amount, depending on the coverage, right? So please look at which one suits you better. Just know that that insurance must include that you can be repatriated to your country if anything happens and this person dies, and that it can cover medical expenses up to 6,000 euros. tomorrow. So just make sure of that when you're selecting any of the insurance that it covers this thing. The next thing you will need is also a photograph of you, like a headshot of yourself, like a passport picture of yourself. This is one of the things that you will also need in the application. When you are filling this form, when you've uploaded everything, especially when you come to the end to ask you if you want to pay right away. Now let's talk about the payment for your application. The payment for your application would cost, for general order, if you're using the regular order, which takes around 4 months, it will cost you right now 160 euros. If you want to apply for urgent order, which takes about 2 months, it will cost you 360 euros. So just be mindful of that. If you have a lot of so you decide if you're going to use the quick order or the regular order for your application. How long does the application take? Like I already mentioned, it takes around 2 to 4 months depending on the order that you're using. When you make the application, immigration will look at it. They would obviously validate your documents that this person is real. Check everything that you literally submitted to them. If you've applied through VFS or through a Lithuanian embassy in your country, when they make the decision, you would be contacted back to pick your TRP documents. If you did not declare your place of residence yet, please know that you must do this, because sometimes we come to Lithuania once we've gotten that temporary residence permit. But please make sure that you declare, because it can cost you a lot of troubles, especially that your spouse in the next 5 years or in the next 3 years might need to apply for a permanent residence permit. This is an important thing, because if you have not declared your place in that time, you will not be able to apply for permanent residence in Lithuania. So just be mindful of that when you're making application. Okay guys, so now you've finished submitting your documents. You've provided all this information to them. You've provided obviously the copy of your documents online. Now you have to book an appointment on the VFS website. Book an appointment on your own location where you will need to submit those documents, those original documents. Print out your application. They will likely already have your application, but I always recommend to print it out just in case of anything. This is your application form. Print it out and also take all the original documents with you. Take your marriage certificate, all those things that we already mentioned. When you also go for your interview, that's when you do your biometrics. They will take a picture of you, take a scan, make sure that you do your thumb printing and all those biometric steps that will be done. But please don't forget to take your original documents, not the photocopied ones. Take your original documents to your interview session. Once you've submitted, once you've had your interview session, the processing time takes around 2 to 4 months depending on the order that you use. Once that process is completed, once the 2 months is over and they make a decision, when they make a decision, you will get an email saying, hey, a decision has been made for you. Usually when you get that email, it takes around 10 to 15 days for them to inform you that the card is ready. Right? So you get an email saying that the decision is made, even though you don't have a card, and then in the next 10 to 15 days, the card will be printed out, and then you can go and pick it up. Once you pick it up from the VFS or from your own, or if you had a visa and you are now in Lithuania, if you go to pick it up, then it means that you can travel to Lithuania, or in any case start living with your spouse here in Lithuania. So I hope these steps are pretty clear on how you can bring your spouse. I know that some of you will have a lot of questions, kindness, how do we do this, how do we do apostille, how do we do this? So please drop your questions in the comment section. If there is something that I've not mentioned here, or you did this process, please also share your own path and what was most challenging or the easiest one, or how anybody watching this video would get a grasp of what it was for you, especially for different countries, because the process might be slightly different for different people from different countries. So just be mindful of that. But all the information, all the links are in the description box. And yes guys, I'm happy that this video is finally out once and for all. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, please comment, and please share this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a good day guys. Bye.